Righty McHoho in our stash shop today. We have the Art Creation sketchbook from last week, and if you haven't seen that video, we road tested it the way we do in the cave with these things. So there is this test page which is on the very back page. Other than that, this sketchbook is unused and available for, I was going to say a bargain price, but they're a bargain to start with brand new, but even more bargainier in the stash shop this morning. I've also got a handful of these Derwent Artist erasers as well. I was really impressed with these as a product. They're just real good, so there's a handful of those. I've also got a couple of blending stumps here, brand new and unused. And lastly, I have a selection of charcoal and chalk pencils. So they're black and white, but there's quite a range of them there. So if anyone's looking to try out some white pencils or do some work on black paper, they'd be great for that. Or if you need something to add in a little bit of detail for your charcoal drawings, they're there as well. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem, and I was really tickled about how excited you all got about the Art Creations sketchbook video last week. It seems like it really is, because these reviews, they can be subjective. I do try and be as objective as possible, but obviously and naturally, part of my opinion is going to, sort of seep into proceedings. It seems that these are extremely popular, so I'm glad that y'all agree with me. And a big thanks to those of you who came and watched and have decided to go and try one out. Highly recommend. So kind of following the same vein, my curiosity was piqued by that, because something else that Julia sent me in the same package as that sketchbook was the colour pencils that go with the sketchbook. So from the same range, the Talens Art Creation range. Now y'all know I'm a total pencil monster, and I'm also quite critical of pencils. So today we are going to test out these pencils and see what they are all about. So naturally these pencils are from the Art Creation range, so these are a budget pencil, and you are not going to find many brands of pencil cheaper than these are from a bona fide art company. These are available in the UK for as little as £4. I kid you not. W.H. Smith, which is a popular high street stationer and newsagent here in the UK, have the 12 pack on sale for £3.95. So pretty cheap pencils. That doesn't mean that they're going to be terrible, but it also doesn't mean that they're going to be good. Just because the sketchbook was good, sometimes these things are not made equal. Because they are part of the same range, and Talens is obviously a trusted name, I'm holding out a little bit of hope. So let's see what we can find out about these pencils first of all. It does say colour pencils on the front. The bump on the back tells us, Talens Art Creation products help you to express your creativity with ease. This set consists of 24 coloured pencils made from high quality pigments for an excellent colour transfer and long lasting use. The pencils come in a sturdy cardboard insert, which is completely recyclable and provides good protection. I think they're kind of struggling for things to say here. The set is suitable for everyone who's at the start of their creative voyage of discovery. For more information, please visit Royal Talens. I have had a look on the website, and basically it doesn't tell you that much more. What I was trying to find out is whether the casings for these pencils are made from sustainable wood, and also whether these pencils are wax based and oil based. I am going to make the assumption based on the price point that these are wax pencils, because oil based pencils tend to be slightly more expensive. So I'm going to make that assumption. If I am incorrect in that assumption and one of you awesome cavers knows better, please let me know down in the comments. Okay, so I would like to test these out in a tried and tested favourite safe place for pencils, and we haven't seen this for a wee while. This is Johanna Basford's World of Flowers, and I've kind of used this as a guinea pig book the whole time I've had it. So some of you will recognise some of these little panels from previous tutorials, etc. Right, let's take a wee look at these pencils first. Oh yeah, oh, that's pretty good, I like that. Okay, let's take a look at the colour selection here. It looks fairly balanced on a first inspection. I'm quite excited about this. I love a good pencil. Right, so the barrels are very smooth. That has got like a clear varnish finish on it. The barrels are pretty thin as well. Obviously they're not going to be these ridiculously thick chunky pencils if you're only paying £3 for a packet of 12. But that feels quite nice. So we've got a dipped end, and the end is orange, but it's like that on all the pencils. That's just the, you know, this casing's orange as well, so you can see they're all the same. But what is nice, despite being a very budget pencil, these have not only colour codes but colour names as well, and I don't think you can ask much more of that from a basic pencil. They are round barrels, but they're very smooth. That feels really nice. It does feel like a cheaper pencil though, and I'm not going to lie to you, it doesn't feel like particularly luxurious, but it doesn't feel like a really, really cheap pencil either. I did want to test these out on a variety of papers because I do find, especially with more budget end pencils, they tend to be a little bit fussier, and sometimes you can call them short of what they're capable of just because they're not on a paper that they like, and that's just a characteristic of cheaper pencils. Again, not set in stone, there's always exceptions to the rule, but generally I find the higher quality the pencil, the better it behaves on a varied range of surfaces. Right, I'm going to grab a wee page in my sketchbook here. I can expose this now. Yeah, I can show this now because the memberships are open. I was going to mention that at some point anyway, it might as well be now. We do have memberships available on the channel if you would like to have some extra fun perks, and this was designs for some of the emojis, which is a tier 1 subscription, gives you access to custom emojis that you can use in the comments section, but also in the live streams as well. If you want to check that out, you can look down here and there'll be a join button just under the screen there. If you click on that, it'll show you all the tier levels, which there are 3, and associated perks. You can get these custom emojis right off the bat from tier number 1, so they're available to everyone. We are working on more as well, so there'll be more of this fun stuff to come. Anywho's, let's get these pencils swatched out so we can have a wee look at the colours, because I think that's going to be pretty. Okay, so obviously we're going to have white, which you're not going to see much in this sketchbook on account of the paper is bright white, primary yellow. They do seem to have quite sensible names. There's no, you know, sort of outlandish or exotic pencil colour names, which is fine. Now, my first observation is that these pencils are quite soft. I'm not having to press hard to get a lot of colour, and it's layering up fairly well, and that's just the yellow. This is very interesting indeed. Azo Yellow Deep. That feels, it feels smooth. It's not got that sort of massive, creamy, rich laydown that you would get from a more expensive pencil, but that certainly does not feel like a cheap pencil. There you go, there's 3 layers. The paper in this sketchbook's relatively smooth. Oh, yeah, look at that. Okay. I just had to slow the video back down because this pencil is called Purpur. It's a purple pencil. Oh, that's really tickled me. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, I was waiting for the blues to see what was going to happen here, and because quite often that's a really good measure of the actual core quality. Your reds and your oranges are always going to be much softer and creamier, and it's just because of the types of pigments that are used to create the colour. This felt particularly soft, this Azo orange. The ultramarine, while it doesn't feel as soft and creamy as the oranges and the reds, it still feels pretty good. So that's a really good sign of consistency and also the quality of the pigments and the binders that are being used here. I really like this turquoise colour as well. This is called turquoise green. And again, the same thing, that feels substantially soft. Like, these are good pencils. Let's carry on. Wowee. They feel very consistent. These feel like good pencils. They actually feel like good pencils. There was a few things running through my head there. Obviously, I was my wee brain was wandering about while I was swatching those out. And my first thoughts are, this would be really great. See, as a travel set, see if you are a pencil monster like me and you're not overly excited about carrying paints and stuff, but you wouldn't want to carry a full set of 120 polychromos with you. This would be a great set to take with you if we can layer and blend them. So that's interesting. In terms of the colour range in this set of 24, this is where there's always a catch with these things. You don't get a really cheap set of super duper artist grade pencils. You have to pay for light fastness and quality. However, these are really good quality. The downside is they only come in 24 colours and there is no open stock. However, the fact that there's only 24 colours could be negated if we can layer up and blend colours. Obviously we can create our own shades. My only criticism of this pack of 24 is 24 pencils is quite a limited colour range. Even if you are new to coloured pencil and colour theory, I always think, and I found personally, that 48 pencils is a good starting number because it's enough to have a little bit of variety if you don't have the colour theory knowledge to create your own colours or to layer colours up. But it's also not too many pencils to be overwhelmed. In a set of 24, your colour selection's quite precious, and I feel that these two colours are too close together. I feel it's a bit of a waste. This is the turquoise colour that I commented on and said was really pretty, and this is supposed to be an emerald green. The difference in these is, and I've got quite a good eye for things like this, and the difference between these two is negligible. Even on the camera there, you can see that this only has a slightly more greenish hue to this. So it would have been nice to switch that out for something else. What that would switch out for is very subjective. Obviously, it depends what you like. We do have a very basic set of earth tones here. For me personally, I'm always a great advocate for contrast, and a really deep indigo blue would have been a great colour because you can use that as a shadow colour, but you can also put that down over the top of other colours to mute them down without taking away from it quite so much. The other alternative that I would have liked to have seen was a different grey as well. This looks really warm on the camera. It's not. It's a cold grey. Again, one warm and one cold would have been great. So that's my only criticism at this point of the colour range. But in terms of the actual pencils themselves, so far so good. So we're going to do a really quick bit of layering and blending just to see what happens. Now the easiest way for me to show you this and use a creamy pencil is to create orange, and I do that quite a lot on the channel. I'm perfectly aware of that. So I'm going to grab the vermilion, which is this one, and I've also got the primary yellow, which is this one, and I am going to layer these up and see if we can get an orange just by layering them on top of each other. So really light layers. So I'm using the same technique that I would use if I was using any other coloured pencil to do the same thing. And I just want to see if we can get something that resembles a fairly smooth orange colour. I wouldn't expect it to be perfect, but let's see what we can do here. So I'm just alternating here. Obviously, depending on what shade of orange you want, you can alter the ratio of red layers to yellow layers, and you can do that as you go along because you can see where you're going, sort of thing. If it's becoming too reddish for you, you can do a couple of consecutive yellow layers, and so on and so forth. And that's fairly good. So that's a couple of layers I've had down there. So I'm reaching kind of the limitations of the paper, honestly. But now I usually burnish with a top layer of my lightest colour, so I'm pressing really hard with that yellow, and it's to blend out some of these pencil strokes. And that's fairly good. Okay, what do you think to that, guys? I don't know about you, but that looks orange to me. So yes, we can layer these pencils up and blend them to create our own colours, which is great. So let's do a sort of gradual blend, which is this sort of technique of blending colours into each other and creating a sort of gradient. That's more a technique I would use when I'm colouring in colouring books, because when I'm using colour pencils for drawings versus colouring books, I use two very different methods. So basically we just overlap these, and I'm sure some of you have seen me do this many times. Many times. And you've probably done it yourself many times. But this is a really nice way of moving through colours in a colouring page, especially if you've got a limited area that you're working in. But yeah, we'll just overlap these and see what we can get in the middle there. Get a nice transition. Again, you're never going to have a completely seamless transition. Like, that's never going to be a thing. Especially with a £3 pack of pencils. But look at this, like, you can't fault this at all. At all. I can even up the bits where my red pencil strokes were uneven, and I've put down a good couple of layers on there, and I'm pressing quite hard now. you know, to get this to blend out. But look at that, look at that. I've actually got a bit of a dirty page here from graphite from the opposite side of Dirty Midden. But yeah, we can really like, and it like lighten up that pressure there. Look at that, that's just pretty. Like, this is great. Well, yeah. Now, the other thing that I want to show you just while we're here as well, if you take a look at the tips of those pencils there, you can see where I've been pressing down. So what that's telling you is that these pencils are quite soft, but they're not super soft, because to be fair, they have done a fair bit of work here between these two things as well as a swatch. So I would say these are the nice side of soft. Like, they're a little bit soft, but they're not like Prismacolor soft where you're sharpening every 2 seconds. So yeah, guys, this is great. This is really, really good. Honestly, I'm quietly impressed. Or well, not so quietly because I'm telling you guys about it, but then it's my job, isn't it? Right, okay. Let me move this out the way. Now, what's the motto? Swatching out's all very well, but the proof is always in the artwork, or in this case, I'm gonna pick a little panel in this colouring book. So I'm really into the idea of this pink colour. It's called Rose. I really, really liked that pencil, but I also really, really liked the red violet as well. So I think we'll maybe do some petals with these, and see how we get on. I want to kind of keep the pinky purple theme down here. Yeah, right, let's go. Now this isn't going to be like a Gem masterpiece or anything, that's not what this is about. I just want to be able to do a little bit of work with this pencil, but in a sort of finished piece manner, so that we can see a finished article and see whether it's any good or not. And say I use this book specifically because these older books of Johanna's, the paper in them was very, very reliable. I don't think her books are printed on the same paper anymore, but this is the same paper as Enchanted Forest and the original Secret Garden. I know that's been re-released for a 10-year anniversary. The ocean one as well. What's the ocean one called? I can't remember, but yeah, the one underwater as well. They were originally all on the same paper here in the UK, and it's very consistent, it's very reliable, and that's why I chose this book. And because it has a lot of these pages with these little panels in, it's great for tutorials and testing out pencils. So this book's been a great workhorse for me, but there's nothing actually particularly exciting or finished in it. This is a classic Johanna petal combination for me as well, having a darker colour at the tip. And a lighter colour in at the centre of the flower. That's something I do a lot. Bearing in mind I have finished Enchanted Forest, so I have coloured a substantial amount of Johanna's flowers in the last 5 years or so. So this is a standard move for Gem, especially if you've got a lot of flowers on the page. Like, it's nice to have a go-to technique that you can use, and obviously I just vary the colours depending on the flowers. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit now because I want you to see more closely the vibrancy and the pigmentation on this. But I want you to see how this pencil's behaving on this paper. Not quite a granular level, but nearly. But look, I'm able to blend that out really well. Like, this is so nice. It's so nice. Oh, I went outside the lines there. This is happening a lot with me now, and it's my hand. I knew that this hand situation... Oh, I knew that this hand situation was going to get worse as I was as I got older, but it really is. If anyone's interested, this is just a battery operated Derwent eraser. You can pick these up fairly cheap. I will try and remember to put a link to maybe Amazon down below if you fancy checking out one of those, but they're really handy for stuff like that. So if you're like me and you've got a bit of a wayward hand, then, or a wayward anything else for that matter, you can check that out. There are other brands available. I got that Derwent one just because it was in a flash sale at the time, and it was years ago, and I got it for a bargain. But yeah, highly recommend. I think in the States the Ohuhu ones got a pretty good reputation. I don't know if you can still get them or not, but the Ohuhu, I struggle with that sometimes, Ohuhu. It's a lot of ooh sounds, and obviously as a Scottish person, our oohs are quite intensive. So Ohuhu that's a lot. This feels good, like I'm enjoying it. Can I just point out, just while we're zoomed in so far like this as well, look at the difference. I remember this was the Castle Arts pencil, this one. Look at the difference though. This is a far cheaper pencil. Look at the difference. Interesting, really interesting. But I'll just finish this off. I'll speed this bit up, and we'll look at the other petals in the background. Yep, I am super happy with this. That's fairly vibrant as well. Again, you'll be able to see it next to some of the other pencils that we've used on these pages when I zoom out in a bit. For the background petals, I wanted to use some purple colours. The purple the purple is it's quite delicate, and the darker purple, which is the blue violet color, it's significantly darker. But we're gonna try and do this. So I'm going to alternate now. So the lighter color is going to be out at the tips here. You can see it's a very, very delicate colour, but we'll see if we can get this blended into the blue violet and make it look reasonable. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. I am going to have to sharpen this pencil, which I'm really glad is happening as well, because that's something we need to test out. Standard procedure here in the cave for coloured pencils is the Tagal multi-sharpener. I use this because you can get different heights and widths of points. So number 1 is a really short stubby point, and that's great for really soft pencils because it helps stabilise the surface area and help stop breakages. Away at the other end of the scale is a number 5, which gives you a really long, thin, pointy point like this. Great for harder pencils for precision and getting into nooks and crannies. So we'll go 3. 3 would be sensible because that's the middle ground here, and we'll see how this sharpens up. Yep, no issues at all. Nice point on it. It's blended out quite nicely as well. Okay, good. Good, good. Right, again, I'll just batter through the rest of these. I'll speed this up a little bit and I'll catch you up in a little minute. And if there's anything of any interest, I will let you know. And there we have a breakage. Not the end of the world. Not really sure what was going on there. Let's see what we can do with this now. Sharpened, no problems, back to business. Off we go. Okay, there we go. Through that with no incident or issue whatsoever, apart from a bit of sharpening, but hey, that's what it's all about. Okay, for the background, I want to use some of my greens, so I'm going to plump for the phthalo green. I've got phthalo green and yellow green here, and I want to create a sort of vignette. So again, that'll allow me to test out the sort of blendability of these. So I'll just get my layer of green down first. I'm ignoring the dots. I'll probably go over them with like a Posca pen or something. I'm also going to use this for the middle here. And then pop a bit of yellow down on top of it. Just to be fancy, you know. I actually kind of want that more yellow than green, but you get the gist. Okay, so this is interesting to test out over a larger area because it lets you see if there's any inconsistencies in the pencil. And I can safely say there isn't. This feels so velvety, like this feels so nice going down on the paper. And you can leave one layer of pencil there and it stands up on its own, you know, it doesn't look sort of washed out or, you know, anything like that. So I'm just going to build up a little bit of another layer round the actual flower, and because my darker parts are going to be concentrated in the sides and the corners here. I just want to have something to blend with is all. Yeah, like, come on. I can't believe how cheap these pencils are and how good they are. Like, it's like Crayolas. And again, this over here, this piece here was done with Crayolas. With Crayolas, though, the pigment load is atrocious. But if you know that's what you're working with, then that's fine, because you know how to work through that. These pencils are super cheap. Okay, they're not aimed at kids, but the colour payoff compared to the Crayolas is fabulous. It's fabulous, I tell you. Right, okay, let's grab this darker green now. Start off in the corners. I'm just going to envelop this little petal. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I think it's just supposed to be petals. So let's do that. Really darken this corner down. Yeah. And then just fade that out to next to nothing there. Maybe bring it down the sides a little bit. Look. This is great. Like, I wish I didn't have to work my proper job today, or else I would just sit here and colour loads of stuff in with these pencils. So good. That's just one little corner. Okay, I'll do the rest and we can catch up for some final thoughts. I really enjoyed my little 10-minute scratch away here. I'm just gonna pop a bit of colour in these as well. Yeah, this is a great set of pencils, guys. It's perhaps not quite as impressive as the sketchbook situation, but these are definitely, when people ask me to recommend beginner's pencils, these are definitely going on the list for sure. I would not hesitate to recommend these to someone, either as a travel set for a more accomplished artist, or as a beginner set if you're just trying out coloured pencil for the first time. You know, it's so cheap. You've really got nothing to lose by trying these pencils out. So I just want to zoom out now and show you that next to some of the other pencil brands that we've used. Like the really, really vibrant pigmented colour. Look at that. It's absolutely stunning. Like fabulous, fabulous stuff. And again, if we go back to the swatches here as well, we've got a great range of colours and it's nice and rich. We can layer it up, we can blend it. You can't ask for much more from a budget pencil. Naturally, the downsides, as we've mentioned throughout the video, the downsides are there are only 25 colours and you have no guarantee of light fastness, which is consistent with a budget pencil, so there's nothing out of the ordinary there. But overall, these are 100% getting a cave thumbs up. There is one last thing that I want to do before we finish off this video today, and I thought it would be kind of obvious, but I want to try the pencils out in the paper from the same range. And look, there just happens to be a wee space right there. So I'd like to try, and I'll just do a little quick blend. And I'm going to pick the really dark blue. Well, when I say the really dark blue, relative for the set. So I've got the ultramarine here. I just want to see how this goes down on the paper. Bearing in mind we've done the Prismacolors and the Polychromos pencils, I feel it's only right that the pencils that belong to the same set have the option to participate in this particular sketchbook. Oh, would you look at that? This just blended in together beautifully. It's like they're meant to be together. Who'd have thunk it? And completely by accident I've picked the colours from the cave logo. Look at that. Look at that. That's nice. That's a nice blend. It looks like the walls in the cave. Okay, yes, so these pencils are really happy in this sketchbook. Oh my. Well, honestly, what a revelation. Like, really. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the Talens Art Creation budget pencils. If there are other brands of pencils that haven't already been reviewed on the channel and you would like me to test them out, you can let me know down in the comments. I am always happy to put things through the rigorous cave paces and see how they go. So I hope this has been useful for some of you, or entertaining for all of you. If you have anything else you want to add, just open your mouth and you can let your guts rumble down in the comments there. I want to thank you very, very much for watching. We do have our live stream on Wednesday afternoon, our WIP Wednesday, our Work in Progress Wednesday. I would love to see some of you. That is 2 PM British summertime. And we're going to be talking about budget art supplies from the likes of Wish, Temu, etc. So if you can join us for that, then that would be great. If not, we'll see you after the fact in the replay video. And we will have our normal Thursday video as well. We are finishing up Rita Berman's Journey Through Asia. We've got our train station and we're going to get that polished off this coming Thursday as well. So hopefully you can join us for some of that. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. Please take it easy and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye for now.